Welcome to Vkind Connects. I'm your host, Shabnam Islam. And joining us today is Elaine West, founder of Rooterville Animal Sanctuary located in Melrose, Florida, and Pink Pigs Boutique, a specially curated boutique shop that supports the veg economy through fashion, jewelry, clothing, handbags, and so much more. Elaine, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to get to chat with you.
I know, me too, because you are someone who's been a part of our Vkind family for quite some time. You're on the Vkind app. I love that you have put all your businesses and your organizations there. And so you are someone who really does mean a lot to us here at Vkind.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
from the start, I remember
From
joining.
the very
Yeah.
beginning. That is right, girl. But let's talk about your why, right? Like, why did you decide to go vegan? Were you vegan your whole life? Or was there a
Oh,
defining moment?
gosh, I wish I could say that I was vegan my whole life. That would be awesome. And I really admire people, especially people that are my age who have been vegan their whole lives, because there were no veggie burgers, back 50 years ago. So we've come a long way. The defining moment for me was when Stella came along. I had no idea about factory farming. And actually, it was the very first video, because video was all new back then. There were no real undercover videos. That was all new technology back when I was young. And the very first Seaboard Farms pig factory farm that PETA did a little video on, and I saw that, and I just said, I can't support that anymore. So I stopped eating meat. I continued to eat dairy, thinking, well, not killing anything, right? The eggs, lay eggs, and cows give milk. That's the way it is. I had no idea about dairy until, I got to see a video about dairy and how horrible it is to the cows and the baby cows. And I guess you don't think about what happens to the boy cows that they don't need, or what kind of life a dairy cow has, or the chickens and the egg farms. I mean, that's just horrific. I've been to them, and they're absolutely, if you can stand to even get within a mile of them, to see that is just horrific. So
It's a stench of death that you
or
smell before
clothing.
you even see it. You can smell
Yeah,
that.
a long way off. Yeah, it's horrible.
And
But
how long ago was that for
gosh,
you?
it seems like 100 years ago. It's back when I was probably 26, 27 years old. So probably 25, 30 years ago. We got called in to help with to see what was going on with that. There was an egg farm that went bankrupt here in Florida and Georgia, and so we got asked if we could get to one of the farms to see what was happening with the birds, because a lot of them had been left to just starve to death. I mean, they just closed down and walked away, and those poor birds were just left in those buildings with no ventilation, no nothing. I mean, no food, no water. And so we managed to find one. They're not easy to find either when you're looking for them. But anyway, we were able to find one, and the people there, I mean, we witnessed it. We saw what was happening. They were just pulling the birds out of the cages, not nicely, and wringing their necks, throwing them in dump trucks, and taking them and burying them in a hole. And when I went to the man who was like the manager of it, and I said, why are you throwing away? Why don't you let people come and take them? People would love to have those chickens. And he's like, well, they're spent anyway. They're like over a little over a year old. I'm like, a year old? They live like 15 years, and you're throwing them away like they're trash. I was pretty shocked. So we rescued about 100 birds from there. It was all that I could carry in my car. I'll never forget driving all the way from Georgia, about 2.5 hours from home, with a car full of chickens that smelled really, really bad. It was terrible, but it was
So
a
you
good
saved
thing
100
to
lives
do.
that day.
Yes, and they were precious. Those birds were really precious to me, and they don't live very long. The way they're bred to live on a factory farm, they're not bred for longevity or health or anything. They're just bred to produce eggs. So, but those little Leghorn chickens. I just love them. But yeah.
And that was 25, 30 years ago, that experience for you?
Yeah. And yeah, because I've been at this a long time. I mean, I remember taking videos and trying to figure out how to loop them so that I could take them and all in a little TV with a video in it so that I could take videos to events, and getting kicked out of events because of the videos. And, people didn't want to hear that and see that. And but all this hard work that activists like myself and our other old folks who've been at this a very long time, it's finally, we're seeing some real fruit being born. The harvest is coming. And that's a blessing to see that.
And so then let's fast forward, a few more years, 25, 30 years, and now about almost 20 years ago. In 2004, you created Rooterville Sanctuary, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that, how that came about.
So, well, yeah, I always loved pigs. I grew up around farms. My cousins had a pig farm. So I always loved the pigs. And so when I got my little potbelly pigs and they were my pets, and I was still eating pork way back then, and I didn't understand the difference. So I went to my local humane society to adopt a dog, and I asked the people before I took the dog home with me and did all that paperwork if I could either bring my pig by or take it home and let it see my pigs, make sure it was going to get along with my pigs. And they were like, "Oh, hey, we got one in the back." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me go back there and look." And sure enough, they had this little potbelly pig, super friendly. She laid over for a belly rub as soon as I walked back there. And they had given her to the guys that were there trimming their tree to barbecue. And I was horrified. I was like, how could you do that? This is a humane society. What's humane about that? And fortunately, I was able to shame the guys into letting me take that pig home with me. So I ended up with a pig and a dog that day. Yeah. But that was my first rescue.
And that's why she has a sanctuary, ladies and gentlemen, because she just can't stop rescuing animals. And God bless you for that. God bless you for that.
Yeah, I wish we could save them all. That's the hardest thing about what we do, is not being able to save them all. And it's so sad because, the farm animals especially, they're not going to have a happy ending. At least dogs and cats, if they go to the shelter, they'll be humanely euthanized if they don't find a home or get adopted. But for the farm animals, they're not that lucky. And down in the South, they use the pigs, especially the potbelly pigs, for dog bait because they hunt hogs. The wild pigs, they hunt them with dogs. And so they get these innocent little friendly pigs that can't defend themselves, and they train their dogs with them. It's horrible. There's so much bad in this world, but we have to focus on the positive and the good things that we can do, and we're making a difference. And thank God, it's getting big now. It's exciting.
I love that. And, I briefly want to talk about the creation of Rooterville Sanctuary because it was a family entity. You created this alongside your husband, and it's something that really meant a lot to the both of you, correct?
Yes, actually my husband, he married into it. So, he married me to pigs, so he knew what he was getting into, but he loved them. He loved the animals so much. And he became vegan, shortly after we met, and, never looked back. He was amazing. But I lost him about 6 years ago now. And so I've been on my own, just keeping things going.
And how has that changed? And how has that changed Rooterville Sanctuary without him around?
Well, it's made me work very hard to make it something that he would be very proud of. So that's always in the in the back of my mind, that I need to make sure that Dale would be proud of what we're doing. So we always want to be first class, and the animals get the absolute best care that we can possibly give them. So and we're getting the word out. We're sharing with people about, when they come here, they don't just see the animals. We want them to come here to see the animals and have that experience with them. But we have educational signs all along the way. So they are going to learn things as they're walking around, and they're having the time of their life. Really, people love it here. They just love it. So we want to open their hearts and minds. And that's the best thing, is when I hear somebody say, "Oh, I don't eat meat anymore because I came to Rooterville." It's like, yes, thank God. That's why we're here.
I love that so much, your impact. So I'd like to hear, and I'm sure our Vkind community would love to hear, what kind of services are offered to help raise funds for Rooterville Sanctuary? I mean, what do people do when they visit? You talk about education, but there are even things like cuddling cows, pigs, goats, pony rides, not to be confused with,
no,
riding a pony, right? Like, but meeting the ponies at a party, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So when folks walk through the gate, the animals most of them are free range. We have a lot of our friendly pigs, and our 2 little goats are free range, and Leo the goat is also free range. But they come in. We have a play area for the kids and a pile of sand for the kids. And we have a nice seating area, and then we have the cows are on the left hand when you walk in the gate. The cows and the horses and the ponies, and the pigs, the main pasture of pigs, is on the right hand. And then everybody else is just in the middle there, and people can feed them. They can buy them. We sell bags of snacks. They can feed them, or they can bring their own carrots and veggies to feed the animals. But the cow cuddling, you can go in, you pay extra, and you go in with one of our staff members, and you can love on Tencel the cow and his friend Holly. And Dallas is getting very friendly now. And then we have a mini moo. I call him our mini moo. He's a little teeny little miniature cow, and he's a little doll, and he's starting to get friendly now. So, but you can get in there and you can love on them. Tencel and Holly, they're big love bugs.
Now, who is the most popular ambassador? Who is the most popular ambassador at Rooterville Sanctuary?
I would say that it is now Tencel, because he's so ginormous and he makes such an impression on people. And then his story, he and Holly were on the dead pile at an auction. And so, and they clearly were not dead. So when people see them and they read their story, I think that really makes an impression on people. And so
I'm sorry, what is a dead pile at an auction?
Okay, so the auctions, they're very interesting if you ever get a chance to go to one, the livestock auctions. If an animal can't walk through the auction on its own, then they cannot sell it. And if they can't shock it enough to get it to move and go through, then it goes on a dead pile. And then on the weekdays, the renderer will come around to the dead and pick up the animals on the dead pile, whether they're dead or not. I mean, they can linger there for days. And then they load them up in a truck and they go off to the rendering plant. And I don't know what happens from there, but they make stuff from their bodies. So, but they're
AKA rendering, AKA processing plant. So, when people give us vegans, plant-based people a really hard time about our foods being processed, I just need you to realize what you think is food, which isn't, is being processed beyond belief.
Yeah. And the really horrible thing when you stop and think about it, the stuff that's the grossest is the stuff that they get kids to eat, like hot dogs and marshmallows and Jell-O. It's like,
and candies filled with animal bones, and
that's the nastiest stuff. Like, that should never be in anybody's mouth, and they make that stuff and they feed it to kids. It's like, how sick is that? That's just twisted. But yeah, people should really learn about their food and where it comes from and what it takes to get that food from, really birth to their table. Is pretty horrifying. And if it's so horrifying you can't look at it, then you shouldn't be supporting it, because no one in their right mind would pay somebody to abuse an animal for them. No one.
That's right.
But
people in their right mind do it all the time. But it's that cognitive dissonance. It's not thinking that, I've paid someone to do my dirty work until we, as animal advocates, kind of step up and say, hey, this is actually what's really happening here. And
Yeah.
I think what Rooterville Sanctuary is doing such a good job about is that education aspect. Instead of showing pictures of animal cruelty, what you're doing is you're showing a sentient being who wants to be loved, who wants to be cuddled, who wants to connect like your local cat or your dog. And you do it at such an incredibly reasonable price. Like, did you guys know that you could literally pay just $20 to get a private tour at Rooterville Sanctuary? $20. You guys spend more money on coffee in a week, but you could be saving lives and like connecting with other beings in such a great way. And it's really accessible to you, particularly if you're in Florida. I really, really, really hope that you guys get a chance to go there. So thank you so much for what you're doing, Elaine. It is just, I'm not really much of a religious person, but in times like this, I say you're doing God's work. So
I know I'm doing God's work because only God would have a sense of humor and put me to doing this job. It's hard work. It really is. And it's heartbreaking
work. It really
work.
is.
And, but it's and I have to beg a lot, because the funding, sanctuaries are so underfunded. It's so sad. That's why I started the online retail, and I wish I had more time to devote to it. But to really bring it, and maybe somebody's out there who would like to help with e-commerce and help us grow that. But my goal is to generate enough revenue that we can help other sanctuaries and other rescues and other, charities with the good work that they're doing too. Got a little bug coming in. Watch out.
And so that's exactly what you're doing with Pink Pigs Boutique. And so let's talk briefly about that, because if you are even looking for someone to start, helping and supporting, this is the space we're asking our Vkind community. Like, if you're in tech, if you understand e-commerce, please contact Elaine West at Rooterville Sanctuary at the Pink Pigs.
Right.
But the Pink Pigs is really quite an exceptional online boutique. Tell us about it.
So, when I was young, I could never find anything with farm animals, and if I found anything with a pig on it, I was just thrilled. It was like showing all my friends online, look at what I found, and but now it's all over. But we do really kind of specialize in finding animal themed products like the chala purses that are also vegan and that are high quality. And they're great for animal lovers, but jewelry, just any kind of product that has animals. And we have other stuff for kids too, because we do get a lot of kids coming through. But and I get pallets of brand new clothing every once in a while from Macy's. So we get brand new product that we can sell. Our margins are very good on that kind of product, but things to try to sell. I'll sell anything that's vegan that we can make a buck off of, but to try to raise money and not only that, but these people that buy from us, they get a little flyer, and we don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on people too. If they get our flyer, they go and they look at our website. I've had 2 people come back and tell me, oh wow, the work you do is really great. One person made a really nice donation. So, we don't know what kind of impact when we make a sale and we send literature with every package, what kind of impact we're having there too. But our goal is to always do what we can to be the voice for the animals.
And so what I need everybody at home to realize is that Pink Pigs Boutique, it's a mission-driven business that supports the veg economy, because 100% of those proceeds go right back into Rooterville Sanctuary. So you yourself, every purchase you make as a patron, you are supporting, you're supporting these animals. You're supporting a second chance at life. You're buying them food. You're allowing for expansion. You're allowing for many things to happen. And that's why I really love the affiliate program that you guys have, right?
Right. So we're working on that. And I'm not a tech savvy person, but I just got a company. I'm talking with them to get them to help me launch our affiliate program, because we're going to give 20% of every sale to our affiliates, whoever refers a customer to us who buys something. And that's a huge percentage if you stop and think about it, because retail margins aren't that great to begin with. But we want to cover our costs and provide enough funding from the sale to help other sanctuaries and other nonprofits and other charities with the good work that they do. That's my heart's mission. Before I leave this planet, that God's going to open the door that we can be having a major impact for other people who are carrying on the cause. And we need sanctuaries. We need sanctuaries that are open to the public, that let people come in and touch a pig and touch a cow and get a cow kiss, and rub a pig belly and hold a chicken. People need to have those experiences, and they want to have those experiences, and they're life-changing experiences. We're totally friendly, not judgmental. We want everybody to come. If you can't afford it, we tell people, if you can't afford our suggested donation, we still want you to come, because that experience that you're having with that animal is the most important thing that we can give to those people. And we want everybody to have it. But we need more sanctuaries. We really do. There's so much need.
I do believe that. I do. And you talk about the goal for you, Elaine, and Rooterville Sanctuary and Pink Pig's Boutique is to allow for an expansion for there to be more sanctuaries out there. But are there any important partnerships or collaborations that you're currently involved in, or that you're planning on forecasting for the future?
No, not right now. No, I would love to have some other folks get involved. Probably nobody really knows. So, I'm only one person. I do a lot of stuff. So I have a lot of things going on, a lot of irons in the fire. And it would be awesome to get some support and some help, not just financially, but tech help, help with social media, help with anything that's involved in running a business. Because this is a business, and we have to have a staff. We have to have people to ride people around on the trolley, to be here when people are here, to pack and ship product. There's a lot involved, and we can definitely use all the help we could get.
Absolutely. So, aside from looking for getting some new help this year, what is the most important thing that you would like to accomplish this year in 2023?
Besides winning the lottery, let me think. Well, here, and I haven't said this to anybody. Oops, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm sliding down in my chair here, so sorry about that. The most important thing for me this year is I am trying to find someone, or a couple or a family to take over Rooterville, so that I can be more in the background working on the things that I think would help bring in the most revenue or donations, to really focus on that instead of focusing so much on the day-to-day operations. So finding someone who can fill my shoes and carry on this amazing organization called Rooterville.
Well, that is a big feat, and somebody's got some big shoes to fill. And my suggestion is, have you heard of Bonnie Brown and Passion Placement?
No.
Passion Placement. See, Passion Placement is think of it as like Indeed.com or LinkedIn.com for only vegans. So it's a space that Bonnie Brown has created that always showcases organizations, sanctuaries, jobs. Like if you want to be working in this field. So we need to get you on Passion Placement with all the jobs that you have that you want to be doing, and get that word out there, because Bonnie Brown's Passion Placement is the place to do it.
Awesome. See, I open up my mouth and God opens doors. That's amazing.
I think I'm truly a believer of manifesting what it is that you want. And the only way that you can do that is by sharing. And so I have to say, Elaine, we are so honored that you spent today sharing with us your gift of Rooterville Sanctuary and Pink Pig's Boutique, because you have really done wonderful, wonderful things for this world for decades, and you deserve all the recognition.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I believe that wraps up this incredible episode of Vkind Connects with Elaine West, founder of Rooterville Animal Sanctuary and Pink Pigs Boutique. And we are proud to say that both organizations can be found on our Vkind app, where you can learn more and take part in creating a kinder world by giving farmed animals a second chance at life. Thank you for continuing to support the Vkind community and the veg economy, and I will see you next time.